Some Tea Party voters say the legislature could have done a lot more this session to push their priorities. Joanne Fleming of Tyler chairs the Tea Party Caucus Advisory Committee, a citizens group that advises Texas legislators. She says they want to make government more efficient and cheaper.
There are very specific things that they did not do that they could have done.
She says the Senate refused to even consider a hiring freeze for state agencies, nor did they pass pay cuts for employees making $60,000 and above.
So our question is this: how is it that people who work for state government are somehow a different and higher class of citizen than people who work for the private sector?
But if you take a step back, the Texas Tribune's managing editor Ross Ramsey says Republicans had an overwhelming majority this session, and the agenda they passed was still decidedly conservative.
They didn't get everything they wanted, but they got a lot of what they wanted. The Republican majority turns out to have different groups inside it. There was a Tea Party group, there's the fiscal conservatives, there's the social conservatives, there's the moderates, and on any given issue they kind of shift around. And it is true also that the Republicans were conscious almost all the time of kind of how they stood with the Tea Party and how they stood with social conservatives. They were kind of always looking over their shoulder.
And perhaps they should, because Fleming says her group is tracking votes, creating report cards, and calling lawmakers out before the next election. She adds the fact lawmakers couldn't pass Tea Party priorities like banning sanctuary cities or criminalizing intrusive TSA pat-downs during the regular or the special sessions is inexcusable.
They can all point fingers at each other because now we see, the governor's blaming a senator, the Senate's blaming the House is blaming the Senate. And I just got to tell you, Texans don't need, don't want, and don't deserve this kind of lack of leadership from the very people who are supposed to be the president of the Senate, the House Speaker, and their committee chairs. This is not what we voted for last March and November.
Notably left out of this particular Tea Party's criticism is Governor Rick Perry. Fleming says she feels the buck stops with him, and he's someone they can negotiate with in the interim. In Austin with your Capitol Buzz, I'm Ton Tan with the Texas Tribune.